Hi, Linda. It's Julie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Just giving you another minute and we'll get started. Everyone's watching the basketball games, I think. All right, well, I'm going to start because it's 7:32. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Just want to flash the agenda quickly. So hopefully you can see the agenda. I'm sorry. We don't have any guest speakers tonight. It should be a pretty straightforward meeting. We're going to start with the administrative reports like we usually do, and then move into the officer reports, standard procedure, and then just talk a little bit about some committee chair and positions for next year. And then we'll hear from voices and boosters and MTEF. So that's all we've got for this evening. So I'm just going to hand things over to Alex. I think you're the one doing the student report, right?
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, Grayson couldn't make it again this evening, but there really isn't much going on right now. The juniors are still working on prom planning. So we just started ticket sales for prom on GoFan, the same thing used for all the sporting events. So those sales opened on Monday, and that'll go through next Thursday, the 23rd. But yeah, that's about it. They're really excited to have it at Discovery World and grateful for the PTSO help. But yeah.
Yeah, glad we can help out. Okay, well, that's nice, short and sweet. Well, thanks so much for jumping on and letting us know.
Of course. Have a good night.
You too. Is Melissa Blahnik on? I don't see her. So Eric, I'm gonna jump
Yes.
to you.
Yeah, you bet. Julie, I think I emailed you earlier in the week that she was going to be out with some bereavement leave.
Oh, okay.
And so she wasn't able to join us.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So I'll happily go and share some thoughts about Homestead and what's going on right now.
Okay.
We're 2 weeks into third trimester, right? Things have been going fairly smoothly. Of course, we had a snow day last week, so it disrupts a little bit, but early in the trimester is a lot easier than later in the trimester for our teachers to get things organized and make sure kids are on track. I know I said some of these same things last month around testing, but it is officially testing season. The ACT for juniors is on Tuesday, Tuesday the 21st, Tuesday of this past week. So 2 days ago, we met for some what you'd call bubbling, getting prepared for the tests, some non-test administrative things. So kids are ready to go. They will be starting at about 8:25 on Tuesday the 21st. Opportunity to come in for a junior only breakfast prior to that. I encouraged everybody to stop down in the cafeteria and get a free hot breakfast buffet before they head to their testing room. And when everybody's done, roughly 12:55, give or take a few minutes, students will be dismissed. So they can come back and get a lunch, or they can go out to lunch and do whatever they want. They won't be required to go to the last few minutes of fourth period or to fifth period. So a nice bonus for sitting through the ACT that day, which we know is it's an important test, but as I told the students the other day, it is not a test that determines their self-worth and determines how people feel about them at Homestead, and is not the be-all end-all of what their futures will look like. All sorts of things go into college admissions and other things in life. So hopefully they know that. Nonetheless, we hope kids to show up rested and ready to go next week, Tuesday, the 21st. Looking forward to that.
So I assume that they know that they don't have to, that they have breakfast before, and then they don't have to go to the last few minutes of fourth hour and fifth hour. Because my kids have said nothing, and I have two of them. So no, nothing about that.
Well, so it was in my communication to parents and students earlier, and I can verify I saw both the Franks boys at the bubbling on Tuesday. So
See,
it may just it
this
just
is
may
good
not have come up
information
yet.
for me.
Yeah,
And there was an email too. There was an email communicating the
Yep.
breakfast and
All right.
the early dismissal.
Clearly I'm behind on email, but I would have thought that they would be very excited to tell me that, and neither one of them did. So
Well, you're giving
whatever.
me some good feedback to remind everybody a couple more times of what's happening on Tuesday, because we certainly want people on time, and if they want to come for breakfast, they should.
Maybe it's just my house. We just don't know what's going on.
I feel that way too with my children. So no judgment there. There are other tests for sure that are happening coming up in April, post spring break, pre-ACT for freshmen and sophomores. They've been, you might remember those who have older children. We used to have 2 days of testing for what we called the Aspire testing. It's now called pre-ACT. It's slightly different. It's all down to 1 day, so which is fantastic. Freshmen 1 day, sophomores the next. Sophomores also by state mandate have to take the forward exam, but that's only a 75-minute or so test in social studies for the sophomore class. So not that big of a deal. We will miss some class time for these tests, but it's not all that bad in the end. AP testing is May 1st to 12th. We're busy getting things organized and are excited for the 1,100 tests that people have registered for at Homestead. We finished up Try 2 nicely. However, we had some incidents of academic dishonesty that I want to just talk quickly about, so that people have the opportunities to chat with their children. And I said chat, I didn't mean it in a way that was a pun, but I'm talking about Chat GPT. Okay, if you're not familiar with Chat GPT, it's an artificial intelligence chat bot that can auto generate answers for people in terms of their writing. So if you go search it when you're off tonight, you might be able to notice that the thing can write you a pretty decent essay. Okay, can answer you some nice short answer questions, can find quotes for you, can do some other things as well. I'm just reading my notes here. Its source data includes textbooks, websites, various articles, academic articles, which it uses to model its own language for responding to human interaction. It is very eye-opening if you go check out ChatGPT. It gives human-like answers, okay, and it easily understands its users and what they're asking, and uses some technology called natural language processing. I don't quite know how it all works, but it does absolutely produce a pretty nice writing product. And so if you haven't heard of it, I still think there's potential that your child or children have heard of it and have looked into it a little bit. So the academic dishonesty came a little bit when kids were choosing to use ChatGPT rather than go through the necessary steps in their thinking when it came to some of the writing stuff they were doing in a few different classes. All right, so my message here is a proactive one in the sense of let's make sure we are communicating with our children and anybody else about ChatGPT. While it can be used as a tool, and I think people are using it in the workforce, it's not something we should be afraid of. It just simply does not count as somebody's own work when we are trying to ensure students understand, are proficient in standards and are able to show what they know in their writing. So I do recommend that that you have some conversation. Just go home. You're already at home. Just go ahead and ask your child about ChatGPT. Maybe look at it together. I think you'll be amazed if you haven't seen what it does. But it writes code. It writes articles. It translates. It'll write stories and poems and essays. It'll make recommendations for you. We are in a new world, to be sure, when it comes to our academics, and we don't want our students, in particular this group of secondary students, to fall into the trap of ChatGPT. So again, a tool that can be utilized, not a tool that is somebody's own work. I'll take questions on that in a minute if anybody. Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, so quick question. So how were you able to determine if somebody used this computer generated program?
Yeah.
And is it possible, like, do they access it from their computers in school?
So
Like
yeah,
the teacher says, okay, write an essay and they go right onto it, or is there a way to block it?
Two good questions. Thank you. Let me take them separately. The first one, can you access it at school? This came about probably in November or December, and we definitely talked about it with our tech team. And I also talked about it with the North Shore Conference principals. I hadn't been the one to bring it up. Others are bringing it up. And so I'm certain other people are dealing with the same issues. There are a few places that have chosen to block it, block the site. We didn't do that. Our district office decided not to do that. Again, my stance would be it's not something we should be hiding from, but it's something we should be learning, that this type of technology is out there, can be utilized. It just simply can't be utilized for our academics, right? When our teachers are trying to score and understand what our students know and are capable of doing, right? So, and also recognize that, academic dishonesty has consequences at our school, and it has grave consequences at college. And so those are important things to note. So again, not something to be afraid of, but an opportunity for students to learn more about how to navigate the new world we live in with AI technology. All right. So secondly, I would say, how do we know? Well, the English department, I spent quite a bit of time talking with them. I will say maybe December into January, not quite a bit of time, a little bit of time talking about this, and they felt like they were in a good place because our English teachers know our students and how they write and what expectations should be through that. And I do agree with that, that you can tell a difference in the AI generated essay than you can in a student created essay. I think you can tell that difference. If you can't, there is a Chat GPT detector out there as well. Of course there is. That detector is, I think, fairly accurate. Also have learned that it's not 100% accurate. Okay, so teachers do need to be certain, but I'm not going to name the number of academic dishonesty situations we had, but it was enough for me to be talking about it on a PTSO meeting. That like they were able to tell and dig in deeper, and certainly on a Google document, if there's no indication that any changes have been made or written, or students have been writing over time and making edits, I mean, that's a pretty easy tell of whether or not somebody has created it via AI. Although, so that it's a new world for our teachers and administrators as well. We're trying to figure it out. The best way forward is to be proactive and help kids and parents learn what the tool is and make sure that you're using it appropriately. Hopefully I've answered your questions, Teresa. I'd take more if anybody else has any.
It was actually on the news, like you said, November or December, and it was stated that the Mequon-Thiensville school district was not, altering it or saying, putting a block on it or whatever. I guess the only question I have is, you're saying they can use it as a tool. I know my son was reading a book recently, and I'm aging myself, but I said, there's cliff notes that we can go in and kind of look through, and try to figure out what he was trying to determine. And of course, he didn't know anything what I was talking about, but he was aware of this, but he didn't dare, he was like, Mom, that's cheating. You can't go on. But I'm wondering, you're saying we can use it or they can use it as a tool. So if they needed to use it, and I'm, again, like a cliff note, is that something that is fair? Or just stay away from it completely?
Well, I'm not in this moment declaring school or district policy. What I would say is we have to understand that this tool exists, right? Mm-hmm. And we can't be using it in a way where it's creating our thoughts for us, right? Like our Absolutely. Thoughts have to be original and our own. And so I think we need to be very careful as we navigate that. I'm not using this as a crutch to provide me answers for something that I have to write about.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Very good.
That helps. Yeah. No, yep. I didn't mean it in a way that yes, we should use it. I'm not saying we should. What I'm saying is it's a reality, and I think Absolutely. It's going to be the Chat GPT AI is at its if it's in its infancy right now, it's the worst version of what it's going to be as we continue to grow in this field, right?
For sure. Yeah.
It's something that's going to be here to stay, and I just think we need to help our kids figure out how to best navigate this world.
Very good. Thank you.
But you're absolutely right. I think it was Channel 12 had reached out to Dr. Joint back in late fall, early winter. And he had come to me and asked, what sort of issues do we have with Chat GPT? And I said, well, we're talking about it. English department's on top of it. We talked with Susie Zellman, our research and digital learning specialist, Angie Sistro, English department chair. Maybe it was in a good place just at the end of the trimester. I don't know. It got to be a little bit worrisome, to be sure. And so this is certainly not a trend we want to create. And so I guess my message here is to our group, go ahead and talk to other parents and other members of the school community about Chat GPT, so everybody knows what's out there and can be accessing and seeing it for themselves what can be done. So we don't get our kids in situations where they're they're being academically dishonest, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing it up to everybody.
Yeah. If there's other questions after this tonight, and people want to talk to me further about it, happy to do so. I am absolutely not an expert and just digging into it myself over the last couple of months. But I was pretty well floored when I went to the website and learned what it could do for you, for sure. Heck,
And
I had it write my
free.
notes for tonight.
It's a free thing. They should charge for that. Who are these people?
I know, right? I know. Okay, so on to other things. Prom, we heard Alex talk about prom. April 14th, she talked about the ticket sales already. I don't know that I need to go further there. I'm looking forward to it when we get back from spring break. It is retiring and hiring season. So I just want to make note of 2 educators who are retiring this year. Mr. Millard is retiring after 34 years at Homestead High School. Okay. He's a legend at Homestead, has been involved in the social studies department for 34 years, teaching all sorts of stuff, impacting so many students and their lives, as well as being a longtime baseball coach and still currently the wrestling coach, amongst a number of other things that he's done, including assistant athletic director at this point. So we'll miss Ernie Millard. I do hope and think he will continue to be around the school community, but he's one of them that's retiring. And then Todd Spindler, our loved band director of 32 years, is also retiring. We interviewed for his position on Monday of this week, and I told all of the candidates, which I brought in 8, that for the first time in 32 years, we're trying to fill this seat. It's an important one for us, and we want to make sure we get it right. So I think everybody understood that too. So Ernie and Todd are both retiring, and we'll certainly try to send them off in the right way when we get there in June. But it does mean people need to be replaced. So I talked about the band position already. Another position is in computer science. Actually, we hired a person in computer science just the other day. Has in the last few years been an increasingly difficult spot to fill, and certainly to fill at the standard of that we expect at Homestead and MTSD. We're confident with where we went there. So that's it. That's what I have right now for
Question, the computer science, is it because with that kind of degree and specialization, they can make so much more money in the business market, right? The private sector.
Well, there's definitely, I suppose that could be the case in terms of the money. I don't disagree. I would certainly say that there is opportunity in the computer science field with that degree, that we are not finding a whole lot of people who are mixing the two together, right? Education and computer science, like you would find in some of the other areas. It's increasingly difficult to find people in that field, for sure. Yeah. It's increasingly difficult. I could talk about what candidate pools look like all day, but it's increasingly difficult in all areas. That one in particular is very difficult, and we've got a very proud computer science program that does some amazing things, and we certainly want to keep that going strong. So we feel good about where we're going to be for next year, which is great. We had NHS induction on Monday night of this week. Over 160 kids were added into NHS. We had a representative from the Thiensville Mequon Rotary. Mrs. Grace spoke, our NHS advisor. We had some senior leaders speak. Neat to induct our new members who are committed to performing community service in support of Homestead in the community. We've got a great program for mentoring right now at Homestead that's been led by Tracy Grace and Tony Navarre in connecting some of our students who are looking for community service hours in the Merit Award, or for Merit Award, for NHS, for other reasons, other kids who just want to help, in support of younger students. So those juniors and seniors who have been there, done that in some of our courses, and in English 9 or biology, who have study halls and are able to and willing to participate in mentoring of younger students. It's really, really great. And I think unlike any other school that we've been able to create this sort of setup, and an army of students are engaged in this. And we've got 160 more who will be also doing these things moving forward. So like the NHS certainly is through that. And I love our kids getting involved in the school community. Speaking of that, merit award packets are due the first day we come back from spring break, April 3rd. So if your student is working on that, the date is April 3rd. I would recommend getting it in before spring break because you might forget by the time April 3rd rolls around. The last thing is that definitely that spring break next week. I think or 2 weeks from now, I think everybody's looking forward to it. Spring break, like I've said, for Thanksgiving and winter break is a break, and students should expect not to be having to do any sort of outside work during that week and can enjoy themselves with whatever it is they've got going on. Happy to take some questions if anybody has any, but that's a short update from Homestead.
Any questions for Eric? I don't have any. That was a complete report. My kids did talk about the chat, whatever
Oh,
that thing is.
Chat GPT. Yeah.
Chat GPT, yeah. That one I heard about, the leaving school early on Tuesday. No.
Okay.
Are
Eric,
we
I have one
confident?
question.
Oh, go ahead, Roberta.
Okay, I have a question regarding NHS.
Yeah.
Where do I find, as a parent, I know that the students have been given the requirements of so much community service, so much mentoring. Where do I find that information?
Yeah, great question. I am assuming that Mrs. Grace has not yet sent something out to students and families who are in the NHS. So I think shortly those who are inducted will get information from her, but she is the person to connect to for sure.
Okay.
We also have there's a web page on the website, I think, on the Homestead site that has NHS ties to it. But Tracy is definitely the person who can share all that information.
Okay. Thank you.
Just two really quick questions. So the computer principles teacher, we're confident this is a good one? The new one?
Yes, Mrs. Miller, I appreciate the question, and the answer is yes.
I would second her question.
It was a little interesting. And then the snow days, are we so far under the limit for that flex day to stay a day off? Do we know?
I was wishing nobody would bring that up at this point.
Sorry.
It does not seem as if we are okay, actually. So
Okay.
there was talk just today with me about that flex day on May 26th being a Homestead school day, not K-8. They were off. K-8 was off on one of our 2 snow days. You might know.
Oh, okay. No.
So I think we're about 6 hours short is what I was told today. So
Okay.
there'll be more info on that. I have to do some digging with Kevin Deering, Director of Educational Services. I just learned of it myself today.
Okay.
So I appreciate the question.
So we're close.
The news I can report is I think we're having school on May 26th.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I have just a quick question about AP testing.
Yeah.
This will be our first run through it. Will there be more information coming out as far as the spreadsheet was a little daunting?
Yeah.
And so I just want to make sure that he has everything at his fingertips on knowing what days and so forth. So does more communication come out on that with him or us or anybody?
Yeah, great question. I understand that the AP Boost spreadsheet is daunting. There's no doubt. It's very full. The Control F and find the classes that you're a part of, I think is helpful. Also, the teachers for AP Boost are and should be working directly with the students who are in those classes. But when it comes specifically to AP testing, yes, absolutely. You'll get a message directly from me. I typically work two weeks out. So after we get back from spring break, there'll be a message from me about AP testing, where students report, what they bring, the day of their exam. I probably should know the day of their exam at this point, just based on their time in the class with the teacher. There'll be a detailed message from me that includes all the information needed to be prepared for day of testing for APs.
Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, well, thank you, as always.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, everybody. I enjoyed it. Have a great spring break if I don't see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so we can move on to the officer reports, approval of the February minutes. Becky, take it away.
I move to approve the February minutes. Do I have a second? Roberta, seconded. All in favor?
Yes. Anybody not in favor? Awesome. Thanks. Jamie, you're up.
Okay, so for February, our beginning bank balance was $56,438.94. We had a very, very uneventful month. We only had a deposit of $73.56 for Amazon Smile, and then a check cashed for $1,342 for the junior conference dinner. And then that left us a bank balance of $55,170.50 at the end of the month. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Teresa, do you have an area council update?
I was just calling that up here on my phone. Let me go through quick. We had Dr. Joint do his superintendent report. Nothing too eventful here.
I think the most interesting thing he probably talked about was the student attendance and the number of kids that are now considered chronically truant
Yes.
versus pre-pandemic.
Well, and they also said that the numbers have gone up post-pandemic as pre-pandemic. So they don't know if it's parents are now more cautious, and if their kids have any kind of a sickness, they're more apt to keep them home. So tardies go up. But there's also this, which I've gotten for all my kids, including the exchange student. If you're absent more than 10 days by law, they have to send a letter.
Yeah.
Just kind of warning you. So that's something that's just standard. And, they said we don't really take that to them. That's not like a chronic truancy issue, but there have been cases where kids, the absences is up. And that wasn't that that was that Mr. Dr. Joint that did that one?
I feel like that's what he talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he said it was 8% chronically truant pre-pandemic, and now it's 16%.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
what's this?
Well, I do feel like, because I have a junior, like when they were freshmen and they had those, if you had a study hall, that was basically half your day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you just went home, or you like if it was at the end of the day,
Yeah.
or if it was, so like sometimes Maddie will be like, call me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he
I
says
think they
here,
just kind of got used to like being able to just make their own schedule.
yeah. He said overall schools, all schools register over 90% overall good attendance. But like, for example, Donjas Bay, 1 of 5 students was chronically absent in January. And then the increase post-pandemic.
Teresa, quick question, just to
Yeah.
clarify. So chronically absent is over 10 days?
No, it's 10%. The child has
Oh.
missed 10% of a school year.
Oh, okay. And with high school, it's different because you can be absent for a class, but you could be there for other
And I
classes.
should have asked Eric that because if Emma has an appointment at a certain time, she has missed one class, maybe throughout the
counts.
school year 10
That-
times.
That
Yeah.
counts. I just went through with Miss Porter about this because I was very
Okay.
confused.
Yeah.
We had all these I'm going to say absences. I was thinking they were absent days. She's like, no, they're periods, and you can only have so many periods, but then it adds up to your days. So
Yeah.
you get a letter at 5 days, and then they strongly talk with you on 10 days or more.
Okay.
Yeah,
According-
it's like
according to
the
Miss-
hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Like
So
first
it looks like
period
you have all
probably
this.
gets
It looks-
missed a
it looks-
lot, first
yeah, it
period,
looks-
right? Especially if there's sports, and there are late
Yeah.
games and stuff like that.
And
Had
if the
that
child
problem.
happens to have a study hall first hour, they maybe go, I don't know, never.
Well, that's
Exactly.
right. So Matthew, by the time he got to bed, we were out in Verona for his first lacrosse game. He didn't get to bed till midnight and he had study hall first period. So yeah, I let him sleep in, and so I'm sure
Is that senior
up.
privilege? I know, is Matt, is he a senior or no?
He's a freshman. Emma also has study hall first period. Senior privilege study hall does not count as an absence.
What is senior privilege study hall? I was in the office the other day at 8:40 and a pack of seniors came in and Linda's like, oh, senior privilege. And they're like, yeah. And you know,
So
and they went.
if
I
you're
was
a
like,
senior and you have study hall first period or last period, you get
okay.
senior privilege. So
Huh.
first trimester, Emma had it last period. So what is there, 5 periods? So she would leave, and she had to leave after 4th period. She wasn't allowed to be on campus unless she had pre-signed up or pre-told the study hall teacher she would be there.
Huh.
They
Really?
want you to make, so there's accountability in case of an emergency, fire,
And-
that kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Um,
Jonah's had it all year in 5th period. And so when I pick him up, he's a couple kids come out. This try, there's a million kids coming out. Like, I think every senior has 5th period. Like, it's a crowded parking lot, almost like it's 240. It's crazy.
And so
So-
now, yeah,
was
so this
this
try,
morning.
Emma has
It
it
was just
first
like this
period, so
mass
she,
coming into school. It was
yeah,
crazy.
so
Yes.
she doesn't have to get there for first period all trimester.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we've had 5th period the whole year as his study hall, so he's never had to be there. So it's 4
Yeah.
classes and
Well,
done.
maybe that's it. Maybe Tim thinks he's a senior and that's why he never goes.
Well,
to
I was
the
gonna say
home.
that.
I don't know.
I think it's
Not.
been really nice. I think their biggest problem is kids coming late to second hour. I've heard that from 2 teachers in casual conversation, that it's seniors with senior privilege, but they don't get to school on time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I don't know that they're gonna consider changing it or anything, but I know the teachers aren't a fan of
Yeah.
it when they have second hour and have seniors
Right.
coming late. But 5th hour, it's just real easy. The kids just leave. They're just done.
Yeah. You would think you could get there by second hour. Maybe
You think,
just
but
get up.
you know.
So I guess my question is, for non-seniors, if you do have too many absences like this, even though they are excused, and this is the part that I'm confused on, does that inhibit any of their perks, like for merit, for high honors, for anything like that?
Not
Does
as
that,
long as they're excused.
as
it's
long
that
as
they
they're
have-
excused then?
As long,
Yeah.
well, they might question you at 10, but as long as you can excuse them, or if you said they were medical, they might ask for a doctor's note to back their files up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's only unexcused tardies, things like that, that they get. you know,
Okay,
pensions
but-
or
that helps.
things like
And
that.
I don't think it necessarily affects that stuff as much as it would affect accepting an exam.
Well, and that's the other one
Exactly.
too. Yeah.
Accepting an exam is, you can only have so many excused absences for that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot, I think. But
No,
I'm
it's
not sure.
6, 7, maybe. It's not.
Yeah, like I would say,
ton.
like, just between, try 2 being like the winner in hockey and whatever, I think Jonah had more absence. I mean, he had 0 try 1 and then a bunch try 2, but it
Mhm.
wasn't close to stopping, although he has a study hall, so there's no exemption there. But it wouldn't have been close to stopping him. So you just have to watch what they're for. And if field trip is considered like exempt and test days, so even though it might look like they were absent, it'll say like exempt, and that doesn't count for anything.
I'm pretty
So
sure
how
if
do
you have
we-
to leave early for sports, that doesn't count either.
No.
I believe that says exempt too in the thing. If you
Yeah.
look in Infinite Campus, I think it uses the word exempt there also.
So,
The
so
coaches-
exempt is okay and excused is okay.
Yes, to my
Yes.
knowledge, yeah.
But for accepting an exam, Eric usually sends out that criteria and then you have to check. And it's for that period. So, if you're Spanish,
Still find
And
your
you
try
missed-
2 notes. You might see what it is. Look in your try 2 notes that he sends.
okay.
He'll put the exemption rules there. I would look that over.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thanks. But we
So
got
yeah,
got off
so-
on a tangent on that, sorry.
No worries. So that was Dr. Joyce's discussion. Wendy Francoeur talked a little bit more about the financial public school funding, and how if you go on the board's website, there is a PowerPoint presentation put together by Shelley Burns regarding why they are asking for increase in the per pupil funding, which kind of is what Shelley talked to us about before. Right now, they're moving into the superintendent's evaluation. It's required by state. Let's see. The elections are on April 4th. There's 4 individuals running for 2 positions. The fundraising policy was recently reviewed and updated, and that was her presentation. Then we had Michael Moran, the Executive Director of Student Services, Trey Mansfield, the Director of Social, Behavioral, and Health Services, and Eric Hinterstocker, the Director of Activities, speak. And they talked about student engagement and how they measured it, how students are spending their free time. Potential outcomes include greater academic achievement, increased peer acceptance, enhanced well-being. And it's all connected to goal 3 of the MTSD strategic plan. Basically just making sure that kids are feeling connected. Hinterstocker talked about, for many kids, athletic are very important to help the kids get engaged in academics. Quick facts are we have 29 sports. There's 744 individual student athletes in 21-22 school year. We approximately have 90 coaches, 113 individual state champs, 47 team state champs. And the 2021-2022 GPA was average for all our athletes was 3.47 unweighted and 3.77 weighted. So he was pretty happy about that. I did ask a question about the code of conduct, just because they have this code of conduct for the athletes that they're not supposed to drink, do drugs and everything. But then you hear, about all these like raging parties on the weekend that all the athletes are at. And I'm like, why do we have them sign this if we know they're doing it, but they can't be held responsible because it's off campus? And how does that all work? And I guess he said the previous athletic director used to kind of do investigation and really be strict about it. He does not so much, but if something happens in the community, the relationship with the police department is that they then come to the school and will provide that information, and then the coach and him take consequences with the student. He said there have been a few situations where the students and the parents have come in and self-reported that they broke the code of conduct. And the violation is usually they miss a percentage of their season. And if it happens at the end of a season and they play like another season sport, then they have to sit out a little bit with that. Danny Melgard, MTEF, the off to the races. If everybody's around, May 6th at Shully's, it's going to be a sit-down dinner. My husband and I went last year. They didn't have a sit-down. It was just appetizers, drinks, games and stuff. And it was fun. It was definitely way more low-key than the Tartan Bash. But this year they're hoping to make it a little bit more of a step up with the sit down dinner, but still having a lot of the activities. So I think that's pretty much it. Nicole and Jamie, do you guys, and Danny, I don't know, do you guys have anything else to add?
I think that was
You
about
did a
it.
good job.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, President's report. So I just had a couple quick things. First, Teresa just mentioned it, but I just encourage everyone to vote on April 4th. Not only is it school board where there's 4 people vying for 2 seats, but Supreme Court Justice, state senator, and then we personally, where I live, have our alderperson is up for election. So so don't forget to vote. And then the other thing is I want to just put a plug in for our next meeting on April 20th. So first there's a senior chat so if anyone who has a senior, Chris Betzler is gonna, run through a presentation. And I remember when my oldest was a senior, and I found that very helpful because my oldest child, like my other 2, did not tell me anything. So that is a really good one. And then we are lucky enough to have Dr. Michael Mazius coming. He's a clinical psychologist. He's actually spoken at PTSO meetings in the past, but He is going to talk to us. I thought the title of his presentation sounded pretty good. It's the upside of worry, stress, and disappointment, helping our kids prepare for what lies ahead. So we're going to try to market this one because, not that we don't love everyone on the call today, but this is a low attendance meeting, and hopefully we can get a few more people on for next time, because I feel like the next order of business is trying to get people for VPs, which we're desperately trying to do, and we have not had a ton of luck. We've had a couple strikeouts. So if any of you guys who are all very involved, but if any of you know or can suggest anyone, Roberta and Julie Smallwood would very much appreciate having co-VPs to help them. So
Yes, please.
so, hopefully we can market Dr. Mazius and his talk and get a lot of people on, and then.
Well, what do you think also? Is it possible to, I don't know if we create the link now, if you can do that, to ask Homestead to put it on their Facebook page as well? And really, because we're opening this to everybody.
Okay.
So
I can create the Zoom link whenever we want. I don't know how that all works, and I don't know who does the Homestead Facebook page.
I can reach out to the powers that be, I guess, at school, and see if they could, in maybe 2 weeks leading up to him speaking,
Yeah.
if they could put something on their Facebook page. And if, we'll send, I think Lee's agreed to send an email out to the whole school community with like a little blurb description. And if we can all kind of talk it up with our friends, that would be great.
Yeah.
So we just don't look like, out of how many hundreds of students at Homestead, there's 10 of us.
I know.
You're listening to.
He spoke, and I haven't obviously gone to every single PTO meeting ever, but I did go to one at Homestead that he spoke at, and it was in person, but I mean, he was really good and then I just saw Nicole wrote, Dr. Mazius was great yesterday at Stephan Engage. So I think he's a good speaker. I think he's pretty knowledgeable. And so hopefully we can.
I think he also probably sees half the kids in the community.
Right. So anyway, we're going to do our best on that one. So that's kind of my take on, or my little report, but just kind of move in. I said, like, we are looking for co-VPs. We sat and went through and tried to drum up names and ask people. And so far we haven't really gotten anywhere. So if anyone knows, if anyone who'd be interested, let us know. The other thing is, I don't know how many people on the call have seniors, but we had a change in our grad greetings chairperson. So it's Christina Rader now, right? Is that right?
Yes.
So Christina just recently stepped up to do grad greetings, and
as of 2 hours ago.
Right. And so we're very grateful, but we're trying to get help with that. And so if any of you have a senior and you would like to see your senior get grad greetings, we could really use help with that. That, I don't know, Teresa, if you can think of anything else, but that was kind of all I had from that perspective. I know that Nicole is on
in the
phone.
car.
Yeah, she's on the car. Do you want to jump in, Nicole, or are you? All right. Well, she said her Voices event on Monday was awesome, which is good.
Yeah.
Becky, is there a boosters report?
So I was unable to attend the meeting on Monday.
Okay.
Due to the Honor Society induction. But I know they had a speaker, somebody came in to talk about the pancake breakfast, which I think I threw out the date, I think is April 30th. It is at Homestead. So information should be coming out about that soon. And obviously spring sports are getting underway. So, I mean,
Okay.
I was hoping that maybe Julie was going to join and she attended, but
Oh, okay.
I don't
That's
have
all
much
right.
to
I
report.
mean,
Sorry.
I'm sure, sure if there's big news, we'll hear about it. So
Right.
no worries there. Danny, I know Teresa talked about the off to the races, but I also know that there's the teacher awards, right?
Yes. So just for a quick MTF update, we are at 83,000 for our annual campaign. Still time left till June 30th to make any type of monetary donation. Would like to see most of those donations in by April 30th if we can, just so that we know where we're at for grants for next year. But we're doing really well. We're about 30,000 above last year's numbers overall, and really excited going into off to the races. So for givebacks, we had a great event with Libby's, Glaze, and Evereve. We're over $6,000 for all of our givebacks for the year, which we used to just try to cover the Excellence in Education Awards, so which is 4,000. So we're way above that, and we still have 3 to go. So
Hey, Frank's family participated in the Libby's. We were there.
yes,
We
I
ate
heard
a
you
lot.
I heard you were there.
Timothy decided he needed his own cookie ice cream thing. Like he would not share with the rest of us. He was like, you guys want something? Because I'm getting my own. We were like, all right.
This is what you say. You tell him it's for the kids. So like whatever.
Yeah, he was, I'm sure that was his motivation.
It's all for the
Mom,
kids.
you just got to spend more money so that we can, donate it to MTF. But
That's what I tell my husband all the time. It's for the kids. So let's see. We've got April 12th is Leonardo's, which was one of our most successful ones last year. So that's 5 to 9 Wednesday, April 12th, 15% back. Then we're really excited. We're going to partner with Collectivo for the first time Wednesday, May 3rd. It's 20% back, and that's also during Teacher Appreciation Week. So pick up a coffee for your favorite educator. And then, like Julia said, most importantly, we have our Excellence in Education nominations. They're due next Friday, the 24th. So right before break. Also, if you have any middle schoolers besides high schoolers, we are desperately looking for people to nominate our middle school amazing teachers. We have 6 nominations, and it's not many so far.
Good question.
Yep.
If Matthew's a freshman, could he nominate a teacher he had last year?
Absolutely. In fact, we had 2 of our nominations are from sophomores and freshmen for like 6th and 7th grade teachers. So, yep. So absolutely, parents can nominate. I think it's just a tricky one because whereas Homestead, it's on the announcements every day, they can easily just click that to fill out the form. At middle school, it's a little bit tricky, I think, because, they're not seeing the newsletter. Kids aren't on Facebook or don't get the newsletter entries, right? So it's tough for them. So we don't get a lot. If we do get it, it's usually typically from parents. So I would say just encourage, anybody that that has a middle schooler to make sure. I know Jamie sent something out to Lakeshore today, which was great. But we just want to make sure that we can recognize those people. Doesn't take, you don't have to do Chat GPT to do the nomination. Really easy. It should take you 2 minutes, but anyway, so we really want to make sure that we recognize that level too. So important there. And we have about 80 nominations so far. So and I think after I put in a plug to area council, we got probably 4 or 5 right away after that. So anything you can do to encourage students and things like that to get those in, that would be great. And then, like Teresa said, we have Off to the Races coming up on May 6th. It's a Saturday. It's same price as prom. So if you guys all want to do adult prom, it's $85. It's hors d'oeuvres and raffle and the derby watching, dinner program, fun to grants, music. Should be a great time. I know it's a tricky time for people with spring sports. But just to plug, the event technically starts at 4:30, but dinner is not until 6. So technically we don't need people checked in and sitting down for dinner until 6 o'clock. So don't let that 4:30 time scare people away, I would say. And it is sit down dinner. So we're doing tables, get your friends together, find a group to go with, and it should be lots of fun. Like Teresa said, it is way more casual than Tartan. And, we'll still hopes this year to do the fund to grant and raise a little bit more money than we did last year. So
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was fun.
yeah,
The
be a good
drinks
time.
were good.
Yeah. And Shelley's always, shows us a good time. They're just great people. So we want to make sure we support them. But yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got old business, new business. Anyone have anything they want to, just get off their chest? Because otherwise we can wrap it up. Speak now, forever hold your
We're
peace.
good.
All right. Well, thank you to those
Yeah.
joined. Appreciate it very much. And yeah, let's get a lot of people for Dr. Mazius. I think that one will be good.
Yeah. Can the PTO people, can we, Lee, Jamie, Becky, and Roberta and yourself, can we just stay on for a quick second to
Yeah,
go?
I was actually going to ask if I could talk to you guys too, real quick,
Oh, sure.
but I don't know if
Don't
it
tell us you're
necessarily has to be
resigning
with
from
everybody.
staff appreciation because you're going to send us all over the edge.
Yeah.
Kind of want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So a couple things. One, we have the staff appreciation week coming up in May, and the question at hand was the gift cards that we need to figure that out. So that's one discussion that we have to have. And then I was curious to know, and I will do a little more research and talk to my committee, but I'm kind of wondering if anybody else is interested in next year, perhaps taking a little more of a lead on it.
Would you be able to co-chair or help out, or are
Yeah, I'm in the midst of making I'm using quotes and you can't see me, a life change. And I just don't know what my availability is going to be as of yet. So I don't want to leave you guys high and dry, but I just don't know if I can be the person that has to do the planning, the shopping, the doing, setting up and all of that. That's not an issue. It's more of the behind the scenes of it. I just don't want to leave you guys in a lurch, but in the same breath, I don't want to, I just am giving you a heads up.
Okay. Thank you so much. You gave us a year's notice. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, I might be able to just stay on as is. I just don't know that. I'll know in the next month or two.
Okay. Yeah, just
Okay.
keep us posted and
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, I think we would hopefully be able to get somebody. I know I won't be in the president's role anymore, and I'll still have a freshman. So I still like to be involved. I don't think I could take on chairing it, but I would definitely be willing to work with somebody. Or if you're still on it, work with you or whatever doing it.
Great.
So, but I appreciate you, letting us know. And I'm thinking we should be able to get some more folks on board. I hope.
Yeah. I mean, I have a great team. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if I can be at that same capacity time wise.
Yes.
So I'm just getting a little worried about that. So again, I'll find out. But the closer at hand is the May gift cards that need to be discussed.
So what did we? I think what was.
I reached out to Wendy. I reached out to Connie. We talked a little bit about it. Then it kind of died, and now I don't know where we're at.
I think we're just asking parents to make donations on membership toolkit to then go and buy gift cards, correct?
Yes.
And I think we can still go ahead with that.
Yeah, is there, when you go, I haven't been on membership toolkit, but there's like a thing where you can pick staff appreciation donation, right?
Yes.
So couldn't we just say that the stuff that comes in through there is specifically so that we can go and buy gift cards, right?
I think Jamie might be able to weigh in a little bit more. She might be a little more knowledgeable on what specifically we have to say or do. I don't know. I don't mean to put you on the spot,
No, I
Jamie.
just know that when we talked about this at area council, they said no. And
They said no to like getting donations for.
They said, no, we were not allowed to buy the gift cards. I think if the parents want to buy the gift cards and bring them in or drop them off, that was okay.
And that worked for Lakeshore, but then Linda said it didn't work for Homestead.
Yeah, I don't think
It didn't work. It
parents
worked
aren't driving
some-
to Homestead really, you know what I mean? So it's like, and they're not remembering to give them to their kid and the kid's not remembering to drop them off.
Some years
I-
at Dundas Bay and Lakeshore, it worked great, and some years it didn't. So then it turned out that we didn't have enough, and then I'm running around scrambling, trying to find enough so that everybody at least has one, and it's just turned into a little bit of a. So the last few years that we've just done the donations, like what Wendy said, the last 4 years, she got the money, she went and bought them all, boom, done, and that's how it's been for her 4 years, and it was fine.
I'm under the school thought that we say staff appreciation is coming up. We'd like to present each teacher with a gift card. Please make your donation online. I'm one that is the ask for forgiveness instead of
And-
beg for permission kind of.
Yeah, I
And
know
if
we
it's
talked
something
about,
we've been doing, then I think that's fine. Had they said specifically at area council this
I forget.
year?
This
Yeah,
year
they
said it.
discouraged it, I thought.
I
is what-
forget who brought it up this
Yeah,
year.
every year they
I
say.
brought it up.
Yeah, they
'cause I
talk
was
about
just-
it every year.
Yeah,
I mean,
every year they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to follow the rules, and I don't want to be the one, but in the same breath, this is my first year, and that would really, excuse my language, that would really suck if all of a sudden this is the year we decide not to do it. And then I don't know, it reflects kind of crappy, I think.
And I don't understand the thought process. If people are donating to staff appreciation, we're using at our discretion how we want to show appreciation to the staff. So whether we're buying them water bottles and pastries, or if we're buying them a gift card, does it matter how that money's being spent? If parents are committing to, I don't understand the difference.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, we have a specific thing. If there's a specific thing on the toolkit that says staff appreciation, and that's like, it's not like they're donating to the, what is it, the Highlander Fund, and then
General
we're
fund,
taking that,
yeah.
like we're
Mhm,
using the
mhm.
money that's specifically donated for that purpose. So if I'm a parent going on and I want to make a staff appreciation donation, I assume that money's going to the staff somehow, right? Like somehow it's ending up in the staff's hands, whether it's a gift card or a pastry or whatever, but I don't really understand that.
I don't either. And
I'm
I,
reading it right now. There are often tax consequences that come into play for both the organization and the recipient.
Is that if you're
Um,
their organization where you're like generating thousands of dollars for it, or?
So since gift cards, even for a specific purpose, such as a restaurant or grocery store, are treated as cash, when given to an employee or volunteer, it must be recorded as wages. And then the appropriate taxes might be taken out. So I think that's the issue.
and I get, and remind me, what is the difference that if I went out and bought a gift card and gave it to a teacher, that's because it's not going into the school fund first?
Because it's not a nonprofit. You're not a nonprofit.
So what if everybody Venmo'd me? What if I put my Venmo out and everybody I don't know if anybody would do that.
So that is what they do then at the elementary schools, and that's how they get around it, is they have room moms, and the room moms collect the money and then go and buy the stuff. So that's how you get around it there, because it's not the PTO doing it.
So
Yeah. So if we wanted to do it the right way, that's one way to go about doing it.
So one quick thing, just one quick thought, only because MTF, we had thought about doing for, when Matt asked us for sort of a plea to, recognize teachers and stuff, a little bit of burnout, stuff like that, and ideas that we had. I had talked to Molly about MTF, if we could get Fiddleheads to donate half and then we were gonna donate half and do a gift card for every teacher, full-time teacher in the district, from Fiddleheads, and Molly said that was fine. Amanda Sievers gave me a list of how many teachers, everything. So maybe if someone could check with Molly, I don't know if it's a possibility to check with Molly, but because I specifically asked the question that, we'd heard in area council no go on gifts and things like that for teachers. But Molly said that would be around, maybe it was because it was MTF. I don't know.
I don't know, because it says that, occasional snacks, coffee, donuts, okay, occasional tickets to events, holiday gifts like a gift basket. It's really the gift cards that are a problem. So
Yeah,
I would
because they're like cash.
So all these years, how has it been handled that it's been handled this way?
It's not, it's just, we're just not doing what we should be doing.
Got it.
Just nobody ever got audited.
They're
Yeah.
$10 or $20 gift cards, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Everybody gets
It's not a
$20.
$100 gift card. It's not.
Yeah.
I think it's silly to worry about it.
And that has been brought up years ago, that it had to be
Oh, yeah.
under a certain amount. And I think it was 25 or 20 or whatever. It can't be over that. Well, because room parents were doing that, like
Yeah.
presenting like $300 gift cards
Yes,
to
yes.
teachers. And then the district started getting upset,
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute, it's got to be, much lower than that.
Right. And right now, I believe, if I remember correctly, I'll have to look at my notes, but if I remember correctly, each teacher at Homestead the last 2 years got 2 $10 gift cards to different places, and they randomly got to choose and pick, and they swapped amongst each other. It was kind of fun for them, but we're talking $20, 2 $10 tips.
Yeah, that'll really make a difference in their tax returns, so.
I don't think so.
Oh, no, clearly it doesn't. I'm just trying to.
No, I understand, Jamie. I just feel like,
I mean, are we gonna get in trouble for this? No.
No.
And can we do it or no?
So I guess that's where I'm at. So how do we want to proceed? Because it's coming up, and
Well, I can ask, so who I contact? Molly?
Well, I asked Molly, that was who I got the information from. She said it was fine, but
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's better just not to call anybody.
Yeah, I mean, can't we just do what we've done in the past? We're gonna make a staff appreciation donation for a gift card that will be going to the staff. I mean, that's what we've done for the past 4 years. That's what Wendy did.
do we have to get that specific? Can you just say, make
It's
a
Staff
donation?
Appreciation Week. Could please donate so that we
Yeah,
can
and that's what you're doing.
purchase items for our staff.
I do remember that became a thing. Asking for the money for the gift card became something, was the workaround.
I know I'm feeling very bad about all of this, but I don't want to, I just, it's not forcing me to quit my position. That's not the reason.
Bad
No.
enough. Can't take
I
it.
can't handle it. No, I guess if everybody feels the same way, like no big deal, we've been doing it for the years past, let's just continue. I'm fine with that.
I appreciate you saying, you'd offer up your Venmo.
I'm sorry, but if it was me and I didn't know who Linda Walsh was,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be Venmoing people.
No,
Right.
That seems weird, but I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I prefer for it just to go through membership toolkit as staff
Yeah.
appreciation and then, we can keep track of what's going in, what's going out. the
Well,
budget.
and I remember Wendy last year, actually getting the funds first and taking it, like she got a check before she went and bought everything, just so that she didn't have to put thousands of dollars on her credit card. You know what I mean?
yeah.
She, whatever it was at such and such a deadline, she took, $1,500 and went and did the spending and then charged the rest and got reimbursed. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't want to have this discussion on May 1st and we not know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Jamie, would you be okay, or does that put you in a tricky position as treasurer? Would you? prefer
I mean,
Venmo?
I would prefer someone tell me that it's okay, but if you guys want to outvote me, I'm totally okay with that.
Okay, so do you want to talk to Molly first and see what she
I can
says?
talk to Molly and see what she says, sure.
And then if she comes back that it's okay, or if she comes back and says it's not okay, then we can, yeah, if she comes back
from
and
there,
says, no,
yeah.
it's not okay, then we can figure out if we want to do the Venmo or
Yeah,
how we want to handle that. Because I don't
Okay.
want to put you in an awkward position with treasurers.
and I mean, are we gonna get in trouble with this? No, but
No.
it's just, I don't know.
Well,
The
I'm
fact
at
that-
home and I'm not part of your whole group because I'm whatever, but I know I've heard that as long as it's not more than $20, I think somebody referenced that before, it shouldn't be a problem. I get that it's a big fund that's going to be going to some, but each teacher is going to get no more than like $20, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
So I think if I don't know, I'm nobody, so
Oh, you're so important.
from what I've
And
heard.
that's where I think Molly, approved what MTF was trying to do, was because we were saying we were just going to get it for one coffee. It was like every teacher just gets a
Mhm.
gift card for one coffee, right? So it was like $6,
Like $100 gift card to go and
Yeah.
it's just a little token of our appreciation.
Exactly. And 1 year it was only $10 because that's all the funds they got. And 1 year we had access and it was $20. So, it's not going to be more than 20, but it's just a fun little game that they play by, swapping them and collecting them. And,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Jamie, if you don't mind, touch base with Molly and ask her, tell her, we want to do anything between a $10 and $20 gift card. What is the implication for that? And would it be
Mhm.
okay to do?
okay.
And if she shoots it down, then we'll circle back.
I'm gonna say goodbye now that I'm home. Thank you for everything you all do. You're
Oh, thank you.
wonderful.
Bye,
All right,
Nicole.
yeah.
Do you want
well,
to share? Do you want to share anything with why your event was awesome?
It was just really good. I think if we had any more people show up, it would have been chaotic. It wouldn't have gone well. So
Good.
the space that we used, and we were prepared last year for a good amount of people. And this year we didn't prepare for a good amount of people. So, because they have a kitchen, they have a gym, and they have a studio. But we were just all in the gym time because, why put so much effort and energy into creating this rotation when you don't really end up needing it? And we would have needed it absolutely if anybody else would have joined us, which is a good problem to have. So next
Yeah.
year, a lot of the families, it was really nice. They are, I think, on board with trying to get their kiddos into some kind of a one-on-one program or even a small group program. So I was really happy that we had so much interest. And I think Eve Bicker, she's wonderful, just absolutely wonderful over there. So I was happy. It was good. We're getting there.
Good for
Awesome.
you.
Yeah. And Dr.
Great
Mays,
job, Nicole.
fantastic yesterday. He's just so engaging. I think anybody that comes will be not disappointed.
Yeah.
The way he is able to take a topic and then just tailor it to the current like energy or environment of what's going on in our communities and stuff. He's really down to earth. He's all of you I'm sure have heard him anyway too, but I'm excited about that. So if I could get my kid to see him and not anybody else, I would, but I demand. So again, all right, I'll sign off.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
call, we'll adjourn the meeting. We'll adjourn the meeting officially now, and the exec board will just stay on.
Yes,
Appreciate
and
it.
then Linda, Jamie will email you and CC us to let you know what her findings were.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.